Hi, I'm Kelly Lee McFrederick. I'm talking to you about purchasing in the Caribbean, but I'm going to talk about some pitfalls to avoid. So really, as you explore this wonderful piece of paradise that you do want, I really want to caution you with, you want to make sure each island is a little different. They're going to have some different laws, regulations. A couple of them may have an added government tax that they actually take upon the sale that you may not have factored in. There may also be some restrictions on how close to the waterfront can you be. Do you need a certain permit? So those are some things to look for. And just like here in the United States, you got to think about, is there a possible lien on that property and who's going to be looking over that? And have you picked the right island with the tourists for the rental yield? And boy, what about weather? So let's go about that and some of the hidden costs. So one of the first ones is I would talk about get to know your local laws and regulations. You yourself should be aware of some of those. Maybe you found the right island. I have helped you find the right island. But let's explore the local laws and regulations. Certainly a vetted professional, real estate professional can help you with that, and also a local attorney. And sometimes make sure that attorney may have to speak two languages that you and I are speaking, and their native language as well, to be able to understand the contract and what those regulations are. If you're looking for citizenship, that's a whole different ballpark. So we want to make sure that you're paying for the right price, finding the right property. They may have some government properties that you may be able to purchase or buy a share into, but we want to make sure that your goals and your dreams are met by making sure that we have explained all the local laws and regulations, and that if you want that piece of waterfront, that you understand that it may be an extra permit, it may be a fee. In some states like Mexico, you can only get so close to the water. Some states, some of these countries also say, hey, if you're in my maritime area, you may not be able to get on that waterfront like you thought you could, which leads to the next pitfall. Make sure you use an experienced agent. Unfortunately, the Caribbean sometimes attracts people who just need to make a fast buck. They're worried about commission only, and that's not that different than here in the United States, but you just want to make sure you're using a vetted agent. This is where I do help you come through with that your agent does have experience, definitely does have a real estate license. It is not just trying to sell you a property. You also want to make sure, another pitfall is that property, is it priced as it should be? This is where I really tell you, and any professional real estate who's vetted, who's good, will say, come look at the property. Do not buy just off of pictures and postcards. We do love our pictures, postcards in the hammock with the pina colada and all the wonderful things that do happen. But we want to make sure that you understand that environment that you're buying into. Is that property completely built? We really want to make sure that you understand that, and that is an experienced agent who's not overselling you. We've seen, unfortunately, some things that have not been good, where their property is not worth that value, and unfortunately you thought it was. They brought in some fake comparables to say, hey, it's really worth this amount, when it truly wasn't. So we're going to visit the property, you're going to visit the property, I can help you, the vetted agent can help you, and an attorney may help you as well, making sure that property is secure for purchase. We all get excited. We all want to buy at that moment. It is beautiful. We've been in the cold weather. Oh my, I don't mind cold weather. Maybe to ski and look at the holiday decorations. I'm good for that. But otherwise, I'm going to pick my sunny beach. And you're there and it's 32 below zero where you're from. Just make sure you do the due diligence. Yes, we still do property inspections. You definitely really make sure the agent or a trusted professional real estate attorney definitely wants to make sure there's no liens or encumbrances on that property. We don't know if there's, some of these properties, especially in Mexico, could have many errors that are attached to that, and that you actually do not have a clear title. That's what we really worry about, making sure that we avoid that pitfall so you're able to close that property well, and that you truly own that property without having to pay any more fines. You don't want to pay any fines or any kind of debts that you were not planning for. Make sure about weather too. You want to buy a property that really is, I'm going to use the word weatherproof, that maybe has had some storms that have attached it, and you know that it's well built. Some of our contractors that are building the beautiful hotels, resorts, they are building to code. I definitely recommend some of these great builders that say, hey, we understand it, we are built to code, we can prove it to you. Maybe you want just to share in one of those as well. You want to buy one of those villas, condos. that's always a pretty good purchase. And some of these may be able to offer some finance as well. Just want to make sure that you understand that's part of it. How does that payment structure work? Some at closing, some all the way at the front, some in monies in between that and closing. So definitely make sure you look at that, but we want to make sure that you're buying a property that is well built. I looked at a lot of pre-construction. A lot of times they're using rebar in there. They're making sure you can weatherproof that storm, so keep about that. The other one is hidden cost. Yes, we know that you've just purchased a property, but you may need a property manager to continue the maintenance on the property. You're in tropical paradise. It's just like St. Petersburg, Florida, here on the beach, the water. I got sand, I got salt, I got weather, I got everything. And so sometimes if this is your private residence, you may have just a manager who's coming in, doing the checking on the property, checking the water, checking electricity, the floors, rain, any kind of leaks. Also, if you go to rent, you may be budgeting in for this property manager to help with all the rental as well. Some of these places will have definitely rental managers right on site that do it for the exact building, for that home, or a single family home. You want to make sure that you do have a vetted, trusted property manager who will be renting out the property as well. So another pitfall is thinking that all Caribbean islands are the same. They are not. This is back to what is my favorite juice in the world is what is the lifestyle? Do you want extra health care there? Do you want an island that really works with a lot of the American institutions of healthcare that have branches there, facilities? We have islands that have universities for medical. It's all very, very interesting. And so they do the internships here. We have universities there in the Caribbean who actually do internships in the US. So there's a lot of very good healthcare. Kind of what is your priority? Or do you want the party island with the beach clubs and some very, very fun things? And of course, I love to tango. Yes, I do. So you got to figure out what you want to do that really feels good to you. Another pitfall is don't think you're going to be flipping a property real quick. The Caribbean doesn't sell as fast as it always does in the United States. So be careful when an agent says you can flip that property in a month, 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. You may not be able to resell that as fast as you want. So you want to make sure it's a sound investment, your rental yields are good, you are enjoying it, and it's meeting the needs that you want, that you're able to hang on to it for a little while before the resale. And some of the government programs for citizenship may have you hang on to that property for a certain amount of years. So that's something to just be very careful of. Don't we all love to build a new home? Not really. But a common pitfall is that we think it might be cheaper to build a new home. Let me tell you, it's island time. One of my neighbors back on Clearwater Beach, they built an island in beautiful home on St. Lucia. It took a while. You better be there to manage that construction process, or you're going to pay somebody who will manage that to make sure that's actually working forward. We know they'll build it to code, but that it is built to the code that you are asking for. And many times to enjoy your life right now, you're better to get something that's already built, unless you've got the time and the management and the money to really watch that new construction. It's something that we really do say for first-time investors that may not be the option, but you will see beautiful, beautiful, beautiful homes around the Caribbean that people have built. So it's really kind of a choice that you have as well. Now, just a last couple little pitfalls there. Realize the buying time can take maybe a little longer than you're used to here in the United States. I'm not saying it can take longer than 30 days, but it could take 30, it could take 60, it could take 90, and that's going to be depending on how many permits are needed, your due diligence. We got to clear the title, the lien, inspections. It could take a little longer than you're planning. So if you're buying it at Thanksgiving, expecting you're going to be there for the holidays, just make sure your expectations are clear. It could take a little while. We are on island time as well. And one of the last pitfalls is stretching your budget too thin. Trust what your budget is. If it's this budget, great, stay there, because we talked earlier about a pitfall of hidden cost. It could be a property manager, it could be somebody who's helping you rent the property, cleaning the property, maintaining the property. We could know there could be some permits, licenses that you may have to purchase for that country. So keep on top. Don't be talked into this budget that's out here and you stretch yourself too thin and you're really not enjoying the property because you have exceeded your budget, and that's not good for you. Make sure that you understand the rental market. What is the rental market yield that you're planning on make? Different islands have different amount of tourists coming in. All of them definitely have different percentages of the rental yield that will be coming back to you. Understand and ask questions on those. I wish you the best of luck, and I'm here to help you.